Hey there, it's Todd. Everybody loves a great story. I would like to hear yours, and that's why I'm sending you this video. But to break the ice, if it's okay, I want to share with you my story. Now, my story is a lot like a lot of folks' stories. It's brutal, absolutely brutal. It starts out bankrupt and homeless. Okay. And I'm not kidding. When I first got into real estate, I was exactly that. So I put together a few slides to keep myself on track and keep me from getting too emotional talking about it. But the reason I'm sending you this video again is I would like to hear your story. I want to know about it. I want to know who you are, what makes you enjoy this life, what gets you up in the morning. Why are you pursuing what you're pursuing? Okay. What is it that you ultimately want to achieve given the time that God has laid out for us here on this planet? That kind of story. I used to work for this man right here when I was a kid, teenager. I worked for Dan Cathy. He just retired not too awful long ago as CEO of Chick-fil-A. When I went to work for him, his dad was still alive and ran obviously Chick-fil-A, but Dan was primarily responsible for Chick-fil-A's expansion. My first day on the job with Dan Cathy at his Chick-fil-A store there in south part of Atlanta, he took me out into the mall there when we were standing off to the side, and he was pointing out and talking about the people coming and going in and out of the store. And he said, "See all these people, Todd?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Every one of these people have a story if we just bothered to stop and read it." And I was like, okay. I was just a kid. I was 16, 17 years old. I didn't know what he was really talking about. But boy, it stuck with me. And I wanted to pass that on to you. Everyone does have a story. And too many of us are too busy with our own stories that we forget that everybody else has one as well. Okay. My personal mission is to help you as a real estate agent achieve your hopes and dreams. The real estate agents at our real estate company, your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, my job is to get up every day and help them get rich. Okay. And the way you become super successful in life is very simple. It's a very simple formula. So if you don't get anything else out of my 5-minute video here, I hope you'll get this out. If you can just get up every day and go help enough other people out there get what they want, help them achieve what they want, I can assure you can have pretty much everything you want. So if you're having some cash flow issues right now, if you're not achieving what you most want, it's probably because you're just not helping enough other people solve their problems. So what you want is you want people to bring you their problems. You want to get up every day. You want to pray for more responsibility. You want to pray for a system that can help you solve people's problems and make their life easier. Those are good things to ask for. And you want more and more and more and more people coming to you with their problems, especially people with a house to sell. They need to get rid of that home and they need to get into one they most want. Okay. And they're nervous all about it. You know they are, because you probably were. If you're like me, I was super nervous when I sold my house. I was in it for 15 years, moved from Alpharetta over to Lake Lanier, and 15, 16 years in the same house. And I knew I was going to be spending, 2-3 times as much money going buying another house. And I didn't really want to do that, but I did it because I thought it was good for my family, but I was nervous about it, right? Okay. And then, so everybody's got that kind of same thing going on out there. But this, what you're looking at right here, is my personal mission. It's my personal mission to you if I get a chance to fulfill it. Okay. So it is true. I've done well over $1 billion in sales volume, a couple of billion, 8 to 10,000 real estate transactions as a real estate agent, 30-40 million dollars in commissions earned. I was in the top 10 for RE/MAX agents in the entire world. National Association of Realtors had me in the top 20. Craig Proctor, arguably the #1 real estate coach of all time, asked me to help him launch programs to help real estate agents in his system. I've authored books, bestseller, Death of the Traditional Real Estate Agent, Rise of the Super Profitable Sales Team. I've been featured in books written about real estate, including Dan Gooder Richards' groundbreaking real estate marketing book called The Real Estate Rainmaker, the Guide to Online Marketing. And there was a book written called The $1 Billion Agent, where they studied $1 billion agents and how they got there. I was featured in that book, written by Best Agent Business. So that all sounds like a really good track record, doesn't it? That it does. I get it, but it didn't start that way. And let me tell you, again, I started bankrupt and homeless. I'm going to share that story with you. We have opened up a lot of real estate companies in North America, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realties. They're flourishing as I send this video over to you. And more real estate agents are becoming a part of it because it just is easier. It's easier when the name of your company is Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. It's easier for sellers to understand who you are and what you do. So, of course, they're going to be more likely to call you. That just goes with the territory. But we have a system. We have a system that makes all that work for real estate agents, right? The book that we wrote, Death of the Traditional Real Estate Agent, Rise of the Super Profitable Sales Team. If you don't have a copy of it and you'd like a copy of this book, if you'll give me a contact, you will reach out to me, I'll get you one and I'll sign it for you as well. So I got some in my office. I try to keep some on hand for real estate people that call and say, hey, can I have one of your books? Psh, absolutely. Okay. So in the book, though, I make this statement that you really should be on a super profitable team or grow your own, that the solo real estate agent is tough. It's just tough, man. It's really tough, making 1 sale 1 month, 3 the next month, 0 the next month, 4 the next month, 1 the next month, 2 the next month. That's an income roller coaster. And nobody likes that. But both being on a super profitable team or growing your own rises or falls with the plan and system being followed. So let me ask you, are you following a business plan? Written, proven plan that if you fully implement it, you end up exactly in life where you want to be, where you most want to be. That kind of plan. Is it a plan that you can sell to investors and other businesses where they will invest in your business so you can grow it? That kind of plan. If not, you should use ours. Okay. This is our Millionaire Agent organizational chart that we developed and that we help real estate agents build out if they want to. Okay. So let's say that this plan that we have for you, let's say it's really good. And if you were to fully implement it, you would be making over $4 million a year in real estate income. Now, the reason I say that is because at 100% of all the real estate agents in North America that have implemented this plan, they all earn over $4 million. So if you're 25% effective in implementation of a plan, you may say, well, I'm pretty good at implementing a plan. I don't know. That's great. I hope so. I will help you if you want my help. But let's say you're good. You're 25% effective at it. That means you're going to be a millionaire agent. If you're 12.5% effective in implementing that plan, 12.5% effective, $500,000. It's pretty good. This is our system. We call it the quantum leap system. Everything we do breaks down into these 6 boxes. All 3 parts of this system, everything breaks down into these 6 boxes. Flow, conversion, and retention. If you went to the Wharton School of Business, you would learn that. They would teach that to you into how business operates. Flow. You got to have a steady flow to overflow of customers if you're going to expect to be in business. Conversion. The more prospects you convert to paying customers, the better it is for your business. And the better it is for your customers because you have more money to operate, put back into it, scale it up. Okay. In our system, there is no such thing as past clients. Only lifetime customers. You know what that means? It means there's always another sale. Right. So you might want to take a look at our system if you haven't yet and see if it might match up for you. But look, if you can copy, you can really succeed here. It's a franchise prototype for a super profitable sales team. That I can assure you, guarantee it. But this is where my story started. I was 19 years old. I'd been to college right there, Georgia State University, for a couple of quarters, and I couldn't take it anymore, and I quit. I talked to my grandma, that's her right there. I taught my grandmother, Grandma Walters, into loaning me $40,000 to start a Primo's Pizza franchise. How about that? 19 years old, college dropout. I taught my grandma into loaning me 40 grand to buy this pizza franchise called Primo's 2-for-1 Pizza. And she agreed and gave it to me. And in no time flat, I've got my own little business. 19 years old, I'm an entrepreneur. And that was the original store that we had right there. Primo's Pizza, 19 years old. There I am working away inside the Primo's. It looks like the sandwich side of the building. But yeah, I'm working. Right there, somewhere between 19 and 21 years old, all right, in that place. But unfortunately, 3 years later, I was bankrupt. 3 years later, that was it. I went from being in business as a 19-year-old to bankrupt as a 21-year-old. And I did what a lot of people do when things don't work out so well in their previous life. I got my real estate license and I went to work trying to figure out how to make this business work. And it was tough. I couldn't afford my house, right? I'm bankrupt. I had to flash sell my house. Now I'm homeless. Thank God for my father-in-law, Bobby. I had just gotten married, and I had to go to my father-in-law and say, yeah, I've lost my business. I have no money. I'm bankrupt. We have no house to live in. I just married your daughter. Can I stay at your place? He had a basement, see, that was it. That's where I stayed. 21 years old, new real estate agent, had to move into my father-in-law's basement with the crickets and the spiders. It wasn't like a basement like you might be thinking. It wasn't very pleasant. That was his 81st birthday right there. We were celebrating that picture. Thank goodness my wife had a job. She worked for Delta Airlines, was a flight attendant making peanuts. But we had enough money to eat on, but I didn't have any money to pay back my bills. I owed my grandmother all kinds of money and all kinds of other people and debts and credit cards. You just can't imagine. It was crazy. So I was at the very bottom. I couldn't go any further backwards. So I had to get after it and move forward. So I did. I started at Remax. Okay. And the broker told me to team up with this other gentleman there named Charlie. And Charlie said, you know, we should do, Todd. And I was like, what? He said, cold call. That's what I did. So after about a week or so of that, I thought I was going to jump off a bridge or something. And I'm not overstating it. I was very depressed. I was like, is this what I got into the business to do? Just cold call people and see if they want to sell their house. Yeah, that was where I started in this business. And it sucked. I mean, I was not happy. But I worked hard. I picked up a few buyers from the ad that I ran when I was selling my home. Right? Remember, I had to sell my house. Before I sell my house, I picked up some buyers from that. And so I called those people back to see if they were still looking for a home, sold a few houses. But I'm working hard. I walked into my broker's office. I looked him in the face. I said, this business absolutely sucks. He says, well, you got to work hard if you want to be successful, Todd. It's like, well, then does anybody work harder than me? He said, no, I haven't seen anybody in this real estate office work harder than you. And I was like, yeah, so hard work is not, almost doesn't matter. He said, what's your point? I said, well, I thought I could make $1 million or more selling real estate. Now, this is 1991 when I make this statement. I'm a kid. I'm 22 years old, probably. 22, 23. I mean, I'm young. And he said, look, nobody does that. He actually laughed at me when I pitched that dream to him. Have you ever had anybody laugh at you when you pitched them your dreams? Remember when we were kids and we would dream about all the amazing things we were going to do in life? The big things. I'm going to be a president. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be whatever it is you wanted to be. Yeah. I had somebody laugh in my face when I pitched them my dream. I'm bankrupt, living in my father-in-law's basement. I still owe my grandmother all that money, family wondering what I'm going to do, looking at me. Are you going to pay our mother back? Is what my uncles, my aunts, my father was wondering, right? And my broker's laughing at me. Nobody makes $1 million selling real estate. And you know what? He was right. In his world, nobody did. But in 1991, this guy here, Marshall Redder, he sold 351 houses and made $1.3 million selling real estate. He was the #1 real estate agent in the United States of America. And I pointed this out to my broker. I said, well, there is a guy that does over $1 million. His name's Marshall. He's even a Remax guy. And my broker said, did he? The Remax broker I had no idea this guy even existed on planet Earth. But he did give me some good advice. He said, maybe you should go talk to him. And I was like, okay, I think I will go talk to him. So I called him Marshall. I said, hey, I'm a struggling real estate agent down in Metro Atlanta. I want to do what you're doing. What do I do? He says, well, why don't you come up and shadow me? It's $2,500 for 2 days, and you can hang out with me and follow me around, and you'll learn a thing or two. And I was like, done. So I went up to Marshall. I learned 4 big things from this guy, 4 that were absolute freaking game changers for me personally. Okay. It allowed me to propel my real estate business to actually be one of the top real estate agents in history. One of those 4 big things I learned from Marshall was association. Who you hang out with matters. It might be the most important thing in your life is who you hang out with. You should only take your business advice from people who have achieved what you most want to achieve, which means you need to be really clear on what it is you most want to achieve. And quite frankly, most people are not. They just don't have the vision together. Remember, the Bible says, without vision, people perish. It's true. But I discovered who he hung out with, and he was hanging out with the #1 real estate agent in the world. His name was Craig. So you know what I did? I put what Marshall told me to put to work in my business, and my business blew up. Okay, then I turned around, called the #1 real estate agent in the world and said, hey, I'm working really hard. I got your contact information from this guy, Marshall, and I want to be like you. What do I do? When I say #1, this guy was a #1 real estate agent in the world in 1993, making millions of dollars a year. I've always been amazed at the number of real estate agents that do not make these calls. The number of people on planet Earth that won't go get connected to the very people and things that have what they most want and need to achieve what they most want. Crazy. Okay. But I did. And I give them credit. All right. So what I learned from those people and put into work, 3 years later, my first daughter was born in 1996. I was a millionaire real estate agent. I'd pay back all my family. I'd pay back all my debts, got a house, cars, started my family. I was able to retire from selling real estate at age 39 as a direct result of the implementation of a system. That's my story. So if you're not achieving what you most want, it's probably because you're a victim of all these problems that real estate agents have. There's so many of them. It's crazy, battling these problems every day. Okay, let me show you some statistics here. I think I have them. Okay. The norms and standards that real estate agents put to work when they first get their real estate license are career killers. This is why you see so few people achieving what, I talked about. Billion dollar in sales volume status, millions of dollars a year in income. As a real estate agent, unheard of. No, it's not unheard of. Everyone has a story. Just bother to read it. So I'm going to encourage you to share your story with me. I want to hear it. I want to know more about you and what you want to achieve. And hopefully I've inspired you today that doesn't matter where you come from, what's going on in your life now or in the past. It just doesn't matter. What matters is what you most want to achieve. And you're obligated now to go get connected to the system that will allow you to do that. I think real estate's one of the coolest gigs ever because you don't need to own the stuff that you sell, get to broker it all. So that just creates endless possibilities here for us, doesn't it? Yes, it does. So if you liked my story, I didn't like it at the time, but I do share it now as a means to inspire people there's really nothing you can't do in this life. Just got to get connected to the right people and the right system. Okay. So if you want to talk more, I would love to do that. Share your story with me. Reach out. Okay. And if your home sold guaranteed realty becomes the future place for you, I promise you, we'll give you everything we have so you can achieve everything that you want. Hey, thanks so much for watching the video. Again, reach out to me, share your story. Type it up in an email if you want to. Send it. Record a video like this, send it to me. And I'll watch it. Everyone has one if we just bother to make time to read it. Thanks. Go serve big. See you.